Caitlin Clark just posted a 30-second clip that has absolutely nothing to do with basketball. No logo threes, no-look passes, no competitive fire. Just pure, unfiltered, goofy Caitlin, and the internet can't get enough of it. After months of drama, trade rumors, coach controversies, and injury rehab, the face of the WNBA just reminded everyone why they fell in love with her in the first place. And honestly, the timing couldn't be more perfect. No basketball, no trash talk, no logo threes. Just Caitlin Clark being weird. And the internet cannot get enough of it. Here's what happened. Team USA had just demolished Italy 93-59 in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. Clark finished with 12 points and 5 assists. Solid, efficient, exactly what you'd expect from the tournament MVP. But the highlight of the night wasn't a step-back three or a no-look dime. It was what Clark did after the game. As Team USA walked off the court toward the locker room, cameras caught something bizarre. Clark walked up to an advertising board along the sideline, pressed her face right up against it, and started shuffling sideways. Her face was literally mashed against the signage, and she just kept going, like a kid who discovered something weird and decided to see how far she could take it. The clip spread like wildfire. Fans were confused, then they were delighted, then they couldn't stop watching. "Lol, what was Caitlin doing?" one fan wrote. "Cece, you're hilarious," said another. "Cece, what are you doing?" someone else asked, genuinely baffled. And that's when something clicked for fans who thought they knew Caitlin Clark, because for 2 years the world has seen one version of her, the competitor, the trash talker, the psycho who wants to kill everyone on the court, the player who glares at opponents, waves off defenders, and pulls up from 30 feet like it's a layup. But that's not all she is. And this silly, weird, face against the ad board moment, it's exactly the reminder everyone needed. Let me tell you what Caitlin Clark said about herself before this clip ever existed that explains everything. Here's the thing about Caitlin Clark that most fans don't understand. The psycho competitor everyone sees on TV, that's real, but it's not the whole story. Sophie Cunningham, the same player who went scorched earth defending Clark on her podcast, has been trying to tell people this for months. On the debut episode of Show Me Something, Cunningham sat next to her co-host Wes Wilson and tried to explain who Caitlin Clark actually is when the cameras aren't rolling. And what she said surprised a lot of people. "She's just goofy," Cunningham said, smiling. "Everyone expects her to be a certain way, and she is on the court, but low-key, she's just a kid. She's 23 years old." Cunningham continued, "It's been fun to see where she's at in her career, but I promise you she's so chill. She doesn't care. She's always in sweats and a sweatshirt. She literally does not care. She literally does not care." That's the Caitlin Clark that fans saw in that viral clip. The one who presses her face against advertising boards for no reason. The one who doesn't take herself too seriously. The one who's just a kid who happens to be the best basketball player on the planet. And honestly, that's the version of Clark that fans are desperate to see more of. Because the past year has been exhausting. Drama with the front office, drama with the president, drama with free agents demanding special deals, drama with coaches asking her to change, drama with injuries that kept her off the court for 8 months. Caitlin Clark has been at the center of every single controversy in the WNBA, and through it all, she stayed mostly silent, professional, focused. But this clip, this silly, stupid, wonderful clip, it reminded everyone why they fell in love with her in the first place. Not because she's the best player in the world, because she's human. One fan summed it up perfectly. "We needed this. After all the drama, all the hate, all the pressure, we just needed to remember that Caitlin Clark is a 23-year-old kid who loves basketball and does weird stuff for no reason. This healed something in me." Another wrote, "The way she just smashed her face against the ad board and shuffled away, that's the most relatable thing she's ever done. I love her so much." And that's the thing about viral moments. You can't plan them. You can't manufacture them. They just happen when someone forgets the cameras are there and just exists. Caitlin Clark forgot the cameras were there, and the whole world fell in love with her all over again. You might be wondering why a 30-second clip of Caitlin Clark pressing her face against an advertising board is such a big deal. After all, it's not basketball, it's not drama, it's not controversy, it's just weird. But here's the thing about timing. It matters. And the timing of this clip, it couldn't be more perfect. Let me remind you what's been happening in Caitlin Clark's world over the past few months. First, there was the injury. A groin injury and a bone bruise in her ankle that kept her out for 8 months. She missed 27 games. She watched from the bench as her team made a playoff run without her. Then came the front office drama. The Fever president deleted her social media after comparing the franchise to Apple, like Clark was just another interchangeable part. The owner talked about roles and made everything worse. Then came the free agency chaos. Azura Stevens demanded a guaranteed starting spot to play alongside Clark. The Fever had to choose between keeping Kelsey Mitchell or signing the perfect floor-spacing big. Then came the coach's message. Stephanie White looked at the camera and told Clark she needs to trust her teammates more than she trusts herself. Fans divided into warring camps about whether White was right or wrong. And through all of it, the injuries, the drama, the trade rumors, the coach's challenge, Caitlin Clark stayed silent, professional, focused, but also maybe a little bit weighed down. Because here's the truth about being the face of the league. It's heavy. Every word you say gets analyzed. Every expression gets screenshotted and debated. Every move you make becomes a headline. Clark hasn't been able to just be herself. Not really. Not since she became Caitlin Clark, the phenomenon. But in that 30-second clip, she forgot. She forgot the cameras were there. She forgot about the drama. She forgot about the pressure. She just pressed her face against an ad board and shuffled sideways like a weirdo. And the world watched her be human. One fan put it perfectly. After everything she's been through this year, seeing her just be silly and carefree made me emotional. She deserves to have fun. She deserves to be a kid. Another wrote, "This is the Caitlin Clark I've been waiting to see. Not the superstar, not the face of the league, just Caitlin. Just a goofy 23-year-old who loves basketball and does weird stuff for no reason." That's why this clip matters, because it's not about basketball. It's about remembering that the people we put on pedestals are still people. And right now, after everything, Caitlin Clark needed everyone to remember that. And honestly, we needed the reminder too. Caitlin Clark isn't the only one who thinks she's goofy. Her teammates have been trying to tell the world this for years. Let me read you what some of them have said about the real Caitlin Clark, the one fans almost never see. Kelsey Mitchell, the Fever's star guard, who has played alongside Clark for 2 seasons, once described her as the most competitive person I've ever met, but also the most likely to laugh at her own joke for 5 minutes straight. Aaliyah Boston, Clark's front court partner and close friend, said in an interview, "People see the stare-downs and the trash talk and think she's this intense person all the time. But honestly, she's the biggest dork on the team. She'll send me TikToks at 2 a.m. that make no sense. She'll do random dances in the locker room. She's just a lot, in the best way." And Sophie Cunningham, the woman who went scorched earth defending Clark on her podcast, she's been the most vocal about Clark's off-court personality. "She's just goofy," Cunningham repeated on multiple occasions. "Everyone expects her to be a certain way, and she is, on the court, but low-key, she's just a kid. She's 23 years old." Think about that for a second. These are the people who know Caitlin Clark best, who share locker rooms with her, who travel with her, who see her at 7 a.m. on a flight and at midnight after a loss. And every single one of them says the same thing. She's a dork, a goofball, a kid who happens to be the best basketball player in the world. So why don't fans see that side more often? Because the media doesn't want it. The drama sells, the rivalry sells, the psycho-competitor narrative sells.
A video of Caitlin Clark being goofy in the locker room? That doesn't get as many clicks as a video of her staring down an opponent. But this time, this 30-second clip of her mashing her face against an ad board, it got millions of views because fans are starving for the real Caitlin Clark, the human one, the one who presses her face against things for no reason. And honestly, that says something about what fans actually want. Not more drama, not more controversy, just authenticity. And Caitlin Clark accidentally, hilariously, just gave it to them.
So where does this leave us? Caitlin Clark pressed her face against an advertising board. She shuffled sideways like a weirdo. A 30-second clip of pure, unfiltered goofiness broke the internet, and fans can't stop watching it. But here's the thing about this moment. It's not just funny, it's necessary. Because for the past year, Caitlin Clark has been buried under the weight of being Caitlin Clark, the face of the league, the generational talent, the target of every opponent's game plan, the center of every controversy, the answer to every question about the WNBA's future. She's been called too cocky, too competitive, too intense, too much. She's been told she needs to change, to trust more, to sacrifice, to let go of control. She's been poked in the eye, shoved to the floor, targeted by veterans who wanted to show her what the W really is. And through all of it, she's stayed mostly silent, professional, focused, but also maybe a little bit lost. Because when you become a phenomenon, you stop being a person. At least that's how it feels to the rest of us. We put athletes on pedestals and forget that they're human. We analyze their every expression. We debate their every word. We forget that they're 23 years old, just kids really, who happen to be incredibly good at basketball. This clip, this silly, stupid, wonderful clip, it reminded everyone that Caitlin Clark is still a person who does weird stuff for no reason, a person who laughs at her own jokes, a person who presses her face against advertising boards because why not? And that's why fans are loving it. Not because it's funny, although it is, but because it's real. One fan summed it up perfectly. This is the Caitlin Clark I've been waiting to see. Not the superstar, not the face of the league, just Caitlin. Just a goofy 23-year-old who loves basketball and does weird stuff for no reason. This healed something in me. Another wrote, after all the drama, all the hate, all the pressure, we just needed to remember that Caitlin Clark is human. And honestly, that's the best thing she could have given us. So what's next? Clark is back on the court. She's healthy. She's ready for the 2026 season. The Fever are building something special around her. The drama will continue, because it always does, but now fans have something else to hold on to. A reminder that beneath the logo threes and the no-look passes and the psycho competitiveness, there's just a kid who loves basketball and sometimes presses her face against things for no reason. And honestly, that's the Caitlin Clark we should all be rooting for. So here's what I need from you. If you made it to the end of this video, you just watched the face of the WNBA remind everyone why they fell in love with her in the first place. Not because she's the best player in the world, although she is, but because she's human, goofy, real. And in a world of manufactured drama and PR-trained responses, that's everything. Subscribe. Hit that bell icon, because when Caitlin Clark does something else weird and wonderful, and she will, you're going to want to be here to watch it happen. The clip went viral. The fans are loving it. But the best part? Caitlin Clark is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.